brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. I think no need to introduce Venerable Chuan. Almost all of you know him very well, and was ordained in America and also studied in America and go through his PhD degree in America, and he know very well the teaching in Pali Nikayas and also the teaching in Agamas, Chinese. I don't like to say Mahayana Buddhism or Theravada Buddhism because the professor doesn't like ism. And we are very fortunate Venerable Chuan is here, and Professor Rathnasiri also here, and you can ask many questions as much as you can. And I would like to invite Venerable Chuan to open the discussion. First, to give in a short talk, and you can ask questions.
Thank you, Bhante. Good afternoon, Venerable Wimalajothi. Good afternoon, Professor. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Oh, okay. Don't have to be so serious. How are you all today? Yeah, so far so good. Okay. After this, not too sure. So just now when Bhante said that you all should be familiar with me, then I look around, I am familiar with some of you also. Then I wonder, if I'm too familiar with you and you're too familiar with me, what am I going to tell you? Yeah, then whatever I tell you, then you think, Sifu shared this last year. This, then I say another thing, then you think, Shifu shared this 2 years ago, still the same thing. But if you think about it, for 2,500-600 years, every single year, in fact, every Uposatha day, Buddhists throughout the world observe 8 precepts. For 2,500-600 over years, it is still Atta Sila. Yeah, today, did you all observe Atta Sila? 8 precepts? Say yes. Yes, Oh, some of you, no. It's okay. Yeah. Next round, okay, next round. So, but is there any change? Still no change. For 2,000 over years, 2,500-600 years. How amazing. If you consider things today, iPhone 10 just released. How many of you have iPhone 10? No one. I also don't have. Do you have iPhone, is that 9? No, 9. iPhone 8? No iPhone fan here. Okay, some of you. Yeah. How long can your iPhone last? Can it last for 2,500 years? This is the beauty of the Dhamma. Yeah. Testimony of time. Yeah. That this is the practice. Yeah. The Buddha said this is the way of living of the enlightened ones. 2,500-600 years ago it's like this. Today we still practice in this way. Why? Because this same practice leads to calming of our senses, calming of our mind, restraint in our body, speech and mind, forming a good foundation and basis for us to develop higher qualities, samatha and vipassana. So some things, sometimes we may feel, we need to have something new. In this society, we want to upgrade. Everything we want to upgrade. We want to change. But some things never quite change. So 8 precepts is one of them. But why do we do this? We do this so that we can, if you observe the 8 precepts, if you look at the 8 precepts, a part of it is restraint of ourself to avoid harming others. Another part of it is restraint of our senses, yeah, so that we can live our life without too much disturbances. But today, besides doing that, what else did you all do? What else did you all do in the morning? Huh? You all did so much chanting and meditation. You are so traumatic that you all forget already. I know you are very tuned in, yeah, very zoned in already. Yeah. Have you all been observing noble silence today? Oh, some yes, some no. Huh? Yeah. Some of you are quite busy. Huh? Yeah. Did you all check your handphone today? Some of you once, some of you no, some of you yes. So we all come from different background. When we practice 8 precepts, we may vary here and there. Yeah, the retreat, but the precepts are all equal. Yeah, all the same, isn't it? Yeah. Is there anyone who observe 8 precepts but you can kill? Can or not? Whether it's the first precepts, panatipata, viramani sikappadam samadhiyami, or the last precept, yeah, to avoid sitting on high and luxurious bed and sit, yeah, all these practices, as far as the 8 precepts are concerned, is uniform. But on top of that, you have done other practices. Yeah, as we do all these practices, then it helps us to tranquil the mind, yeah, to develop not just purity in our body and speech, but also purify our mind. Yeah. So this morning, I was over at another 8 precepts, another retreat. Another society held these 8 precepts over at Taipei Buddhist Center. So I was over there early in the morning, 7+, and then there was a talk. Yeah. Also, lay Buddhists, a lot of them over there are doing practices. So today is very special because today is Labor Day. Yeah, Labor Day. Do you all do labor today? Any labor? You all did a lot of work, isn't it? Tough work. Is your normal work tougher than this? Not so tough. Over here, sit until leg cramp. Any of y'all? Did y'all have any leg cramps? Yeah, numbness. Do you all experience numbness? Congratulations. It means that you put in effort. It means that you are alive. Yeah, dead people don't feel numbness. When you sit, did you feel drowsy? Yeah, again, congratulations. You are alive. That's why you feel drowsy. And also, it means that the food is quite good, huh? So, when we do all these practices, we should keep in mind, yeah, for one day, and 8 precepts is for 1 day, 1 night, yeah. All the practices you should observe where you can. I know some of you tonight you need to go hunting, so you cannot observe the first precept. Then after hunting, you need to go and rob a bank, so you cannot observe the second precept. Then third one, I don't want to talk about it, embarrassing. Yeah. Then fourth one, when the police catch you, you must lie. Yeah. Any of you planning to do that? No, right? So why can't you observe it for 1 day, 1 night? Yeah. Throughout the whole day, did you break any of the precepts? Say no. Wow, so simple. Yeah. Sometimes, if it's the first time that you observe the retreat, you may feel like, it's so much restriction. Yeah. But if you ask Bhante, if you ask Professor, where is the restriction? This is like a pure land. Why? Because in this environment, you are protected. Yeah, you are protected from yourself, from our habitual tendency. Not that any of us are killers or murderers, but we have some tendency. Most of us don't have tendency to kill others, but not human beings lah. If you have, don't raise your hand. Yeah, see me after this, okay? Don't frighten the rest of your participants. under certain circumstances, then those tendencies surface. What kind of circumstances? When you're at home tonight, after you go back, you bathe, don't go and watch television, do some puja, do some sitting, read some Dhamma books, then quickly go to bed. Yeah. Then when you go to bed, you must maybe put a layer of, the simple bedding on the floor, and then you sleep on the floor. Yeah, because your bed, you have the bed frame, you have the mattress, the king coil. Yeah. Then you have the mattress protector. I only learned about this when some devotees told me, you mean you need something to protect the... Yes, you have, another layer, thin layer. Then on top of that, you have another layer to cover all this. Then you have the bed sheet. Then after the bed sheet, you have the colorful one. Yeah. Then after that, you have the comforter. If your house is like this, maybe some of you have even more layers. Yeah. Then tonight, for one night, can you do without it? I know some of you cannot. Yeah? Some of you, if you don't have 9 layers, you cannot sleep. Isn't it? No lah. Sifu, I'm not so im-chim. Can you think about it? If you look at the precepts, actually no big deal, isn't it? Yeah? Just a one day, one night. Yeah? Tonight, any of you going for wedding dinner? If you have wedding dinner, Bhante, please give them a chance. But how many of you are going for wedding dinner? Actually, even if you go for wedding dinner, you can observe this precept. Yeah, the number 6 precepts. Yeah, why? You just go there, don't eat lor. Look at people eat lor. You'll be the favorite guest. Your whole table will look at you and be very happy with you. Yeah. When the food comes, it's okay, I'm observing it precept. You all can have my share. Oh, good, come. So, it's okay, you can still observe. Yeah? But I will tell you this. It's not that difficult to do it for one day. Not that difficult. Not so easy to do it every day. But to expect you to observe it precepts every day, maybe a bit unreasonable. Yeah, because today is Labor Day, ma. Yeah, Labor Day, I'm having holiday, ma. Yeah. Is it Labor Day tomorrow? We should have Labor Day every day. Then every day is holiday. Every day you can do your practices. What if now I find a sponsor? Yeah, I find a sponsor for you, so that for the rest of your life, you get the same pay, with 5% increment every year. Yeah, and bonus. And if you meditate 1,000 hours, yeah, in a month, wow, crazy. I don't know whether that's doable. Yeah, 1,000 hours, 30 days, you must meditate 30 hours. No, not possible. Let's say 5,000 hours in a year. Yeah, then you get extra bonus. So you get variable performance bonus based on the number of hours you meditate. Yeah, how many of you would sign up? 3 person. But some of them I can't afford it. I don't know about you. Maybe I can't find sponsor also. Shortcut to enlightenment. Actually, there's such a deal, No, this is the deal. The Buddha arranged this deal. Yeah, whoever want to practice full time, you will find there will be sponsor for you. Yeah, you don't have to worry about money anymore, because you are not to think about money also. That's a funny deal, The moment you stop thinking about money, you don't have to worry about it also. Yeah, then you can devote your whole life every day, practice all you want. Then if you don't, when your friends chill you and go for karaoke and you don't go, I know a lot of you are, you want to practice, but you have your friends, and then you want a bit of social life, but you want to do your practices. Then sometimes when your friends chill you to go karaoke, then karaoke is not exactly your cup of tea. Professor, do you sing karaoke? You do? Then you can consider. Maybe don't go all the way to become a monk, be professor, can still sing karaoke. Bhante don't sing karaoke. Yeah? He sing Pali chanting. Once you become a monk or nun, then there's only one song. Iti piso bhagava arahant, every day. But if you can do that, that's good. But you see, even not monkhood or nunhood, only 3% volunteered. But this is not to blame you. Yeah? It's normal. Even in the Buddha's time, not everybody want to practice full time. Yeah? So the Buddha gave advice to the lay person, a gradual set of practices. Yeah. So if you do your practices for the whole day, that's not too difficult. To do consistent practices every day, that's not so easy. Yeah. So find a set of practices. Do a certain set. But in fact, Bhante, sometimes when I say this, I feel that I'm preaching to the converted. Yeah. A lot of them, Bhante, some of them, you don't look at them like that, huh? Some of them wake up 5 o'clock, do puja, no? Yeah. I know some lay people, morning 5 o'clock, wake up, meditate for 1 hour, then do puja. Some of them wake up at 4:30, crazy, you know? Yeah. To me, why do I say it's crazy? You may think, hey, Bhante, people do practices, why do you say it's crazy? The reason why I feel that it's crazy is because if you want to do so much, just join us. But it's okay. Some of you want to join us but don't have the conditions. I mean, honestly, I know of some students, they really want to go forth, but conditions are not right. Yeah? Sometimes when you don't want, you have the conditions. When you want, you don't have conditions. Yeah? In life, many times it's like that. So what can you do? If you, let's have a show of hands, do some exercise, okay? You have been meditating the whole day. Question, how many of you meditate once a week? Once a week? Okay. How about twice a week? 3 times a week? 5 times a week? How many of you meditate every day? Poor, you see? You see, every day is more than once a week. This group, we don't think that you don't xiao xiao. Very good. So those of us who meditate every day, how many of you meditate, let's see, magic number? 30 minutes. Let's start lower lah. 15 and below. 15 and below? Okay, some of you. Between 15 to, 15 and below, okay. 15 to half an hour. Not bad. Half an hour to 1 hour. Occasionally, it's okay. Yeah. Don't be so calculative with yourself. Yeah. Oh, but sometimes I meditate for like 1 hour and 5 minutes. Sometimes I meditate 25 minutes. Roughly. Yeah, we're not doing a census study here. So how about 1 to 2 hours? A bit lesser. 2 to 4 hours. 4 hours and above. Unfortunately, there's none. If there's anyone who do 4 hours and above, lock the door. Impound that person. Bhante, immediately we hold him or her down, then shave. I mean, if you are already meditating 4 hours a day, really, what is the problem? If it's your father and mother, let me talk to them. I've been talking to father and mother since when I was in secondary school as a scout. The son don't want to train, then tell me that the mother want to see me. I say, okay, where's your mother? I go and see her. Yeah. But jokes aside, if you have been practicing a certain amount already, keep it up. Because even if you meditate only 15 minutes a day, don't look down on yourself. Don't feel, Sifu, you ask us to raise our hand is so embarrassing. There are people who meditate 2 hours. Then you ask me to raise my hand for 15 minutes. You see, When I ask 15 minutes, it's like this. 15 minutes to half an hour is like this. Half an hour to 1 hour is like this. 2 hours to 1 to 2 hours, like this. 2 hours. Let me tell you, even if you just meditate 5 minutes a day, you can raise your hand like this. Why? Because it's the consistency. Consistency. If you consistently meditate every day, this is what will produce results. Of course, if you meditate once a year on Labor Day, that's better than zero, isn't it? So some of you maybe once a year cameo appearance, one time on Labor Day, another time on Vesak Day, another time Qing Ming 3 times, then Ulambana 4 times. Okay, maybe Chinese New Year when you're in the mood, come and see Bhante 5 times a year. I tell you, nothing to be ashamed of. At least you start there. Better than someone who don't do anything. So the fact that you are here today, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. But by the time it's 2009, 1st of May, if it's still the same, how? And that's the thing. First of all, consistency. Consistent effort is important. Secondly, there should be some progression. There should be some progression. The Buddha, at the time of Buddha Dipankara, started off. Many of his chief disciples started off under Buddha Kashyapa, Buddha Dipankara's time. In fact, in one sutta, the Buddha encountered someone who is an anagami, third stage enlightened one in the form realm. And that heavenly being told the Buddha that he already attained anagami at one of the Buddha that's long time ago. The important thing is to maintain the practice and progress. No matter how small the progress, it's okay. So maybe some of us meditate 2 hours a day. Some of us meditate 1 hour, half an hour, 15 minutes, even 5 minutes, it's okay. Give yourself some time. First of all, for 3 months, try to maintain that practice. For those of us who don't meditate every day, I give you a challenge. Bhante, can I give them a challenge? Can. Can you all accept the challenge? Say yes. Say yes. Yes. Say louder. Yes. In front of the Buddha, in front of 2 monks. Kena. Don't worry, Sifu will not sabo you. Small challenge. Those who have not meditated every day, start off with just 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not looking down on you, okay? First 3 months, just maintain this. I tell you, it's more mental, it's very mental. Because every day, 5 minutes, but you must go and do it. So it's actually very mental. Nothing challenging, but very mental. And after 3 months, you increase it to 6 minutes. Don't do 7 minutes, 6. After 3 more months, you do how many? Cannot count. 5, then 6, then what? 7. So that's after 6 months, you do 7 minutes a day. Then after that, 3 more months, you do 8, not 9. By the time we come back next year, how many minutes? How come we come 10? 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. 5 plus 4 is 9. But of course, if you feel that after 3 months you find that 6 minutes is no cake, of course, increase accordingly. But don't increase too much. Why? Because when you are doing good practice, you feel very motivated. You feel like, wow, what Shifu said is true, I do 5 minutes every day. After 3 weeks, wow, I'm consistent. I can do it. Then what happened? The next day you do 1 hour. And then you do it for 1 week. Then the next day you skip. Then the next day you feel very miserable. You say, why did I skip? Then you do 2 hours. Then after that, the next day, after the 2 hours, you feel like, but I did 2 hours already. I deserve a break. Then you break for 3 days. Then you ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Don't. Increase gradually. Then by the time we come back 1st of May 2019, what will happen? Bhante, next year, only half of them left. No, I don't think so. If you do your practice consistently, you'll be motivated. Yeah. And you will appreciate what we have here today. Because when you're at home practicing by yourself, not easy to sustain it. But when you're here together with everybody else, maybe at home when you sit, you endure, you open your eyes, just 5 minutes. Over here, you endure, you open your eyes, 6 minutes. Maybe you feel like giving up. But when you look around, everybody is so diligent. So you put in more effort. Then after you close your eyes, the next person open the eyes and look around. So this is the power of group practice. So if you keep up the practice, then you can ask Bhante, can we have regular sitting? Yeah, even when there are no classes, can we have regular practices? Bhante Dhamma Ratana, Bhante Wimalajothi, they are so kind here all the time, except for Monday, the counter is closed. Yeah, take the opportunity to come, to learn and practice together. Okay? Yeah. I cannot go on and on. Some of you who attend my class, you know, I can just go on and on, bring in the whole Tripitaka, and then 3 hours later, still not done. But today, this session is very special. Yeah, we're going to have a Q&A session. Yeah. So here, I want to wrap up to urge all of us. Yeah. Just now I say you, then suddenly all of us, because myself included. Yeah. Until we attain arahanthood, our job is not done. Until the day we sever the ties of ignorance, the fetters of delusion. Yeah. Until that day, the job is not done. But when we do that, then we can come to see Bhante, kneel down, and then say, Aham Bhante, the holy life has been lived. What has to be done has been done. There's no further becoming. Then Bhante will put up a plug there. Zhuo Bing, attain arahanthood in 2030. Or maybe 20, quite soon. You have 2 years. Yeah. So keep up the practice, okay? I wish all of you a wholesome and meaningful 8 precepts retreat. And don't just finish, then the next day go back to normal. Start today, and let it continue, okay? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now is your time to ask questions. One question over there. Do we want to pass the mic? Is there a mic around or no mic? Then you have to speak louder. Yes. Okay. Bhante, I repeat her question. Then, is there the mic? Maybe we can give that one for that. Okay. I pass this to it. Okay. Her question is on the 8 precepts. Okay. Maybe you can repeat the question.
If we have taken the 8 precepts, then somehow, not in purpose, we break the precept. Yes. Can we just continue the 8 precepts, or we come back to take the 5 precepts? The reason I ask this question because this morning we have taken the 8 precepts.
But then you killed someone.
No. But for the second tea break, the organizer served us bread, and some of us has taken the bread. Including me. Yeah, because I forgot. I really forgot.
Why is I say something? Not so easy to confess that in front of everybody, no. Yeah. So sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yeah. So who do you observe it from? The 8 precepts. Who administer the 8 precepts to you?
Bhante.
So how many of you ate the bread? Raise your hand. Don't be shy. Oh. So I have to leave it to Bhante to deal with you all. Later go and face the wall. Ask Professor. Professor, you. Her question is this. We observe the Artha Sila in the morning. So the precept number 6, to abstain from any food at improper times. Then improper time is supposed to be from noon until break of dawn in the morning. But then they were offered food. So those who raised their hand, they ate something. Yes. No sound also. Okay, so have.
Well, I think Bhante has already answered your question because he confessed it frankly.
Yes.
One thing that we should be mindful of what we are doing. So mindfulness is the most important thing. So
Is it connected? Can we check whether it's connected? Dhamma, we pass this around.
well, and Bhante has already answered that question even in his talk. So that's the nature of mind. So mind is always in the habit of relapsing. And this is a special day for us, even by taking, observing 8 precepts. So you are not to take it as actually a very serious offense. One thing is that you are aware, now you confess it frankly, that means you are aware of that. So that's the way actually the upward progress. So just to quote one incident that took place in Sri Lanka. So I took a number of students to a meditation program in Kandy, the center hills of our country. So one boy asked the preceptor there, he's a layperson. So he said, the boy talked about 2 persons. One person observes seal. Let's say, for example, he recites and observes just a recital, let's say. So I refrain from lying. But all the day he lies. And there's another person, he doesn't recite or take that precept. I refrain and observe lying. But he doesn't say it, but he lies. Is it clear? So one person recites, he promises that he doesn't lie, but he lies. But the other one doesn't promise that he lies, but he lies. So is there are they equal? The boy says that one who promises that he doesn't lie, refrain from lying, but lies is worse than one who lies without promising. So the question was posed to the teacher. Teacher didn't answer at once. He kept silent for about 30 seconds with the eyes half closed. So now everybody, there were about 15 students, they were thinking. So after 30 seconds he raised his voice. So what do you, young brothers, what do you think of it? Now he was waiting actually for the answer, but he didn't answer. Then he, actually to cut the long story short, he said, no, they are not the same. Usually, one who promises that he doesn't lie, but lies, has a sort of guilty consciousness, a sort of conflict arises in mind, even a lower level of guilty consciousness. But that guilty consciousness doesn't arise in the mind who doesn't promise that he lie, but lies. Therefore, because of the guilty consciousness, a sort of frankness, he is aware that he promises that he refrain from lying, but he lies. And because of that guilty consciousness, and he is aware, and little by little he is getting rid of that. But the person who does not promise, but tells lies, and he has not that mental conflict, and he never gets rid of that. So we have a sort of positive thinking like that. So in the ultimate level, I told you in the morning that Angulimala killed many. He's a killer, but he could attain Arhanship, the total mental purity. And even Arhan Moggallana, in a previous life, got his parents killed by clubbing. He suffered, but he attained. So you are not to be worried too much. But as Bhante says, first thing is that you are aware, mindful. So go ahead, not going back. So can you take it back? No. You have already.
Eaten already.
Yes.
What if they?
Oh, physically you can take it out and you can vomit it. But so progressively, go ahead. And if you have a certain worry, that's a problem. So don't worry. So Buddhism is something, even the negativity can be converted into positivity. That's all.
Okay. Hang on. So, just one point to add. After confession, don't go and eat again, okay? Don't whole day eat a bit, then Bhante I eat. Whole day, don't do that, okay? So let me ask you, you kill someone halfway, and then someone remind you, hey, what, don't you kill it? Then you, but halfway already, I must not just kill. No, don't do halfway, ma. Okay. What is your answer? Should you just kill the whole person, or like maybe stop? Can stop, ma. But don't kill people halfway, okay? She used Mandarin first, I translate. Okay.
可能他就是不懂这个不非时事的意思，所以他们才会破解。所以要 explain.
So she raised an interesting point, which is that as we observe the precepts, some of the precepts are pretty straightforward. Some may require some explanation, and so some of you may observe it without really knowing the full implication. Yeah, so good to clarify. Yeah, it's like signing a document, When you observe the precept, Bhante recite each verse, and then you all recite it. That's why I think in the verse there's English translation. So you must read carefully. Otherwise, we add one more line, number 9. I undertake the precept to give my firstborn child to Bhante as a monk. Then how? So make sure whatever practices you undertake, make sure you understand the full implication.
Actually, may I answer you that?
Yes.
So when we actually practice 5 precepts, the first thing is that we can actually, Bhante can administer, that's as a hell. Actually, even the Buddha can show you only the way, but it's up to you to tread on that. So you are totally responsible. No one can be responsible. But you yourself have to be responsible for all your good and bad actions. And 5 precepts is the preliminary ethical behavior, verbally and bodily, but with the mind behind it. So it's up to you. But if you have sort of too much adherence, now let's say you in the morning you actually it was administered by Bhante, and you with a sort of vow you began to practice it. But if you have too much adherence to it, thinking that and if you worry too much, so too much adherence is very bad. That's called silabbata. A sort of silabbata means too much blind adherence, and because of that you may have some worries. No, it's the nature. You break it, but as Venerable says, there are levels. But you can again start and just not forgetting, but being aware of that offense. Not a serious offense. So, but if you think, oh, I promised in the morning, but I happen to break it, I'm very bad. No, that is not the way. So it comes, that sort of guilty consciousness comes because of sort of even a preliminary level of blind adherence to that. So that's why Buddha introduces Silapata Paramasa, adherence to the rituals and practice, or even the 5 precepts, and it's a disturbance. And when one attains the Sotapanna, the first stream entry, so this is one of the mental sort of backwardness that is eradicated. So as Bhante says, go forward progressively. That's what is necessary. So even the 5 precepts is actually mentally propelled, and little violation is also mentally propelled. So for good and bad, mind is there, and even you have the strength in your mind to fight with the weaknesses that are also present in mind. So progressiveness, going forward, is the main thing. That's all.
Any other questions? Yes.
Again, regarding food I'm looking at the program. It says that 11:14 to 12:30 vegetarian lunch. But if we are taking 8 precepts, so is that okay? I thought we have to take before doing.
So yes. So in Singapore, the solar noon is between 12:45 and 12:50. Yes. Singapore's time zone, if you take a plane and you look at the time zone, then Singapore is like that. Yeah, we are 1 hour shifted ahead of time. Yes.
Sorry, I come from Australia.
Right.
Ours is 2 hours ahead of time. We still eat before noon.
No, when I say 1 hour ahead of time, what I'm saying is, it's not that we are 1 hour ahead of who, but our official time is actually 1 hour ahead of our geographical time. Yeah. So this is where it raises a few interesting points. Because if you go by the Vinaya, the description of what is proper and improper time is when the sun crosses the zenith. So that's the solar noon. So then seems to be okay. But then in the Vinaya class, in the past, in the monastery, we have discussion. Then we ask, so what if you take a plane and you're going west and the plane leaves off at 11 o'clock and it travels at a certain speed such that you travel for 12 hours, and in that 12 hours constantly you are over each part of the earth which is 12 o'clock, which is 11 o'clock. So that means you can eat for 12 hours. Okay, so that's the first scenario. Second scenario, when you take a plane, you will notice that the world map has certain parts which is shaded, certain parts which is light. So that is a graphical representation of the sun shining on earth. And you will find that in the winter months, then the Nordic countries are actually partially occluded. Some countries are completely occluded. Yeah, like Finland, for almost 5 to 6 months, it doesn't have sun. So if you stay there and if you follow the letter of it, then Bhante, we eat for half a year, and then the other half we go hibernation. Yeah. So there are many other strange situations as Buddhism spread from India to other countries. So in most communities, we consider both the letter but also the principle. The principle of it is to not indulge in food. Yeah. So as a rule of thumb for many communities, as long as you complete your lunch, important thing is moderation in eating. Because we are officially allowed to eat from break of dawn until noon, right? That's the proper time. So will it be okay if Bhante and myself, tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, we have a long buffet for 5 hours? So if we follow the rule, yeah, the letter of the word of the rule, we didn't break any rule. But by the spirit, we totally break it. Okay?
Actually, what Bhante says is really true. So, if you just go in terms of the promulgation of Vinaya blindly, so we lose what we should get. Actually, whatever the rules which are promulgated by the Buddha, not possibly put, so they are related with the mental factor. So if it is disturbing, we have to get rid of it, but it's not that's it. So if you just blindly follow these rules without focusing our attention to the mental reason why it is promulgated so we actually lose, and it's not the Buddha's teaching. So whatever is promulgated there is related to the progress, not actually going downward but ahead. So whatever is there, the mental factor, the psychological reason, and the result and the consequence which are related with, not to be forgotten. So otherwise it will become a sort of a blind application.
Oh yeah, Bhante, I almost forgot. There's a how should I put it? There's something I must clarify, because just now I got so excited to give a talk, I forgot to clarify. So I was trained in the traditional monastic manner in US. So we learned the teachings, but just now Bhante think very highly of me. Say that I got my master's and PhD. So I didn't do PhD. So some of my students, they do diploma course in Buddhism, they do bachelor's degree in Buddhism. The only bachelor's degree I have is in computer engineering. Yeah. I went through the traditional monastic training in US. My teacher is from Northeast China, and in many talks he openly tells everybody that he is only primary school educated. Yeah. And then he says, but all my students, they are all, university grads. When I first went to US, I was like, I'm a grad, Then when I went there, I realized that I'm the most uneducated person. Why? Because all my fellow monks and nuns, they are at least masters or PhD level. But at the end of the day, it's not so much whether you have masters or PhD or something. The Buddha didn't have bachelor's degree in Buddhism, Yeah. So just to clarify that. Otherwise, Bhante, give me praise. Then I forgot to clarify.
Even I'd like to add something. Actually, so that's knowledge, and knowledge is not always supportive actually towards the mental progress. It's disturbance. So in Sri Lanka we happen to say that PhD is a permanent hair damage, and permanent heart damage, and finally permanent head damage. So our Venerable is not that, and he's beyond that. Sometimes I'm permanently head damage.
professor is too humble. Yeah. Yes, question.
But this in practice.
Yes, question.
So is it loud enough?
Yes, yes for me.
So my question is, thank you. So my question is actually about whether you're observing precepts or not, but just in regular life, right? I find that sometimes I have a craving for something, right? So maybe it's look at your phone or have something to eat or something, and it is like that craving. It's like that attachment, like that you can feel it doesn't feel good. And yeah, I think I now notice it a little bit, but I can't, I'm like stuck. So yeah, I don't know if there are any thoughts about what can you do at that point where you sort of, even I can say, yes, I'm like, this is this grabby craving thing, but I don't, then what? I'm not progressing past the noticing point. Yeah, I should just not do it, but.
Yeah, and all of us know what to do.
Yeah.
But it's the doing it that's the tough part, isn't it? Yeah. Bhante, can I address just a bit? But Bhante, you never address, huh? I must share the pain a bit. If you look at the sutra, look at the Pali Canon, the Buddha seldom tell people that they shouldn't have this or have that. Yeah, I almost never see that, except when the Buddha was addressing the monks and nuns. Yeah. So in that aspect, Buddhism is very interesting. When we say that we should eradicate craving and clinging, it is with respect to Nibbana that we say we should do that. So until the day where we relate to our cravings in a different way, the cravings will always be there. Yeah. So the question is, then what should we do? Some of you may expect us to say, let go. Yeah, but my favorite line is, don't let go. Yeah, because until you relate to the object of craving differently, any attempts to so-called let go will only be successful either partially or temporarily. So if you look at the practices, it is instead to approach it in a gradual way, and most importantly, to observe and investigate the thing that we are attached to, the thing that we crave. In one of the sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya, with regards to feelings, the Buddha advised to go and understand feelings, to understand the full gratification that feelings can give us. Then to go and investigate, to contemplate the faults and dangers of feelings. Yeah? Then from there will arise the revulsion towards feelings. And if you replace feelings with whatever you crave, that will apply as well. Yeah. Short answer is this. Okay, Bhante. Must share the love. Huh? Okay. She's waiting for some comments. Her question is that she has craving for things. I mean, actually, let's get this out of the way. We all have cravings. Okay? It's just a matter of different kinds of craving and different intensity. So the question was, as much as she knows that she should not crave, but can't quite help it. Occasionally we'll just give in, right? Something like that. So her question was, so what can she do about it? Is that a question? She's like, no.
Well, I was saying, I feel like I notice them now, which is good. Like I can say, oh, that's what that is. But then
First thing, yeah,
First thing that is where I'm stuck, I think.
First thing that she is aware of that. That is the progress, the beginning.
Bhante, don't be mistaken. Bhante wear Theravadan robes, I wear Chinese robes. But Bhante is a Zen monk. Zen monk don't talk too much. Any more questions? Behind, the gentleman behind first, then the lady up in front of you.
Thank you, Venerables and Bhantes. My question is about striving with regards to spiritual practice. If one strives too hard, although it's deemed to be good for spiritual practice, but there is a level of agitation that prevents one from achieving peace, which is important in spiritual practice. If one strives too hard, then one can't sit down and meditate. But if one lets go and say, okay, I accept whatever, today I go easy, no problem, my spiritual practice is like that, then the striving drops off. So my question is, how does one approach the balance? How does one strive and yet accept this is what it is? Because if you don't accept this is what it is, it's partly the reason why one strives. But maybe not. But how does one strive, but yet say, okay, I accept, but I still want to strive? That's my question.
Good question. Professor.
Yes. Okay, this is actually a problem which is universally existing, even at the time of the Buddha, today and even the future. So that is it. And just to quote one instance, a very clear instance which represents the same problem. There was one monk known as Sona Kolivisa. He was a wealthy person, and in his lay life he was a very clever violin player. And he was trying so hard that he couldn't even attain any sort of attainment. He was practicing hard and hard and hard, and the more he practiced, the farther the attainment went away. So he kept trying hard and harder. And just to tell you that, even he was walking, doing walking meditation, and he walked and walked and walked until his feet bled. So now he was totally disappointed and fed up, and he was on the verge of actually saying bye to the monk life. However, fortunately, he decided to meet the Buddha. So Buddha knew what the problem was, over striving. Then, understanding his temperament, the mentality, the disposition, Buddha asked, so you had been a very clever violin player in your lay life. Yes, sir. So how could you produce good music by using your violin? Could it produce good music when the strings were so slack and loose? The strings of the violin were so loose and slack. Could it produce music? No, sir. So how was it that your instrument, violin, could produce music when the strings were so tight? No, sir. So how could it produce music? Not so slack or loose or not so tight, but in a moderate level. And the moderate level may be different from instrument to instrument. So then he understood. So he went back. So not so much harder, not so much looser, slacker. So he could attain Nibbana. And to look at it theoretically, there are they are known as 5 powers, Pancha Bala: Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Saddha, and even I have been talking to brother Benton. Yes, and because he posed a question during the time of tea break. So, Saddha. So there must be, you should be able to maintain a balance in these 5 powers. So they are powers with the help of the body, but mental powers. So, Saddha means confidence. But it's not a good word. Confidence. Virya, persistence or perseverance. Saddha, Virya, Sati. Sati means mindfulness. Samadhi, concentration. And Panya, wisdom. There must be a balance, especially with between confidence and perseverance or persistence, and concentration and mindfulness. So there you have to maintain a certain balance in these. And in these we need actually good guidance and preceptor. So no too much striving, no loose striving, but moderate. Otherwise you will lose. And even in our day-to-day life, it is the same. Okay.
I will add another Dhamma, another sayings of the Buddha or teaching of the Buddha. You know, first sutta in Sanyutta Nikaya called Nava Sutta, Ogatarana Sutta, first chapter. And first sutta in the Ogatarana Sutta, one deity, female deity or angel, Devata, came to Buddha and asked just simple question, Venerable Sir, how you cross the stream or ogre or flood? Then Buddha said, I do, like not stay in one place and not a strain or going forward to cross the flood. Then she realized it. It explained the middle path. When we stay in one place means desire, and crossing forward or swimming forward means aversion. That means we have to follow the middle path, not too much desire, and also when we do effort more and more, that means we do aversion. Then middle path is not more desire and not more aversion. And also the professor explained that way. The simile is very good. And there is the teaching of the Buddha, not that the desire related to thina and midda, sloth and torpor, and the aversion related to restlessness and worry. In between, the middle path is no sloth and torpor, no restlessness and worry. We have to practice middle path. Okay, explain that sutta, Ogatarana Sutta, like that way.
More, once a Brahmin came to the Buddha and posed a question, and he asked, Venerable Sir, do you always reject these hard practices? So Buddha didn't say yes or no. He gave a categorical answer. He said, I neither refuse nor accept, but I actually accept in terms of the mental development. For example, whether it is actually, let's say, usually we refer to self-indulgence, over-enjoyment of sensual pleasures, and the other extreme is, that is one extreme. The other extreme is the austere practice of self-mortification, giving so much pain to the body. As Bhante says, and even it is very, very naturally actually illustrated by our Bhante in a practical way. So, we don't totally accept and totally reject. If you go very deeply, you can see we don't totally accept or reject the sensual pleasures, but there are levels. And so Buddha says, whatever which is harmful to the mental development, behavioral development, mental development, and the cognitive development, whatever which is harmful, whatever practice is, I reject, whether it belongs to this or that. And whatever which is beneficial to development of behavioral development, mental development, sila samadhi panya, cognitive development, I accept it. So that was the answer given by the Buddha. So we have to maintain balance in every striving and effort without adhering or going to this extreme and that extreme.
And also, if we have laziness, we can't concentrate our mind. And also, if we have agitated mind or restless mind, also we can't concentrate our mind. That's why we have to practice middle path.
The lady. Yes.
Okay, thank you for the Q&A opportunity. My question is quite related to the lady's question about cravings, but mine is more directed towards loving someone. So, in the case whereby if we form certain attachment to somebody, we tend to perhaps think about them and or miss them, whether is it someone who is still existing or have passed on. Then how do we differentiate whether if this love is genuine or not?
Looks like that's a question for me.
Thank you.
Whether the love is genuine or not. In what way would it be genuine? In what way would it not be genuine? When someone passes away, have you all attended wakes and seen people playing mahjong there? Yes. You have. How do you feel about those people playing mahjong there? Do you feel like they are respectful to the departed? Not so much, isn't it? Yeah. What about if on one table you see people playing mahjong, on the other table you see someone like eyes red, Yeah. Which group do you feel that would you feel, have more devotion, have more feelings and pining for the departed? Probably not the mahjong table. Yeah. The way we define love, or the way most people understand love, seem to be fixated on the amount of suffering we experience when we lose it. Now this is what we can observe. And perhaps this is how we experience it also. That if, let's say, we are dating someone, let's just look at romantic love. And then that person, let's imagine if that person breaks up with us, and when the person asks to break up, and we're like, okay, sure. Or what if it's the other way around? Have you all tried to break up with someone before? Any of you with this experience? I mean, it has to be relevant. Raise your hand if you initiated the breakup before. Yes, so few. The rest, you all are the one who get down. So just try to imagine, okay? You are dating someone, and then you sit down with the person and say, we need to talk. So for all the guys who are not married yet, if the girl ever say, let's meet up for tea, and then we need to talk, it's never good. And imagine if, let's say you are the girl, and you tell the guy, you know, you're a really nice guy. Okay? The guy, if a girl tells you you're a very nice guy, it usually means it's not working out. But imagine if you're the girl and you tell the guy that you're a very nice guy, it's me, it's not you. And then I don't think this is working out. Imagine if the guy say, oh, okay, so like now, like break up now. Okay, sure, yeah, like, you know, I mean we can do it like now. Like now, or now, like next week, or now, tomorrow. How would you feel if the other girl, like you spend one whole week, you know, thinking about how to put it across, you're afraid of hurting that person's feeling, but then when you bring it up, the guy is like, okay, sure, like now, how would you feel? How many of you, guys or girls, if you bring it up and the other person just say, okay, sure, like now, how many of you would feel happy?
You will feel hurt.
How many of you would feel hurt? How many of you have no idea what I'm talking about?
The way he replied is wrong.
The way they reply is?
The way he replied is wrong.
Is what?
He's wrong.
It's wrong.
The way he replied.
How many of you feel that the way he replied is wrong? You're the only guy.
I mean, if it's according to based on like your tone lah, then it's wrong lah.
According to the tone.
I mean,
So what kind of tone should it be? Like, you wanna break up? Now? Would it make it better? Like imagine, let's role play, okay? You're the girl, I'm the guy. Or if you like to be the guy, I'm the girl, that's fine. I'm okay. So I'm the girl, you're the guy. And you tell me. And then I'm like, no. Is that okay? Does it make it better?
No, honestly, but the previous one was like a bit sarcastic.
A bit sarcastic. Like if you're gonna break up, who cares whether the person is sarcastic or not? So it brings up this very interesting thing, which is that, you know, when you hear people breaking up, you inevitably either one person is crying or both are crying, and then it's like, but we can't make it together, then cry. Then maybe cry for a few weeks and then okay, move on and then date another guy or girl. And almost without fail, if one party is crying more than the other, the other person who is like the one initiating the breakup would really wish like, I know this is very difficult for you, just tell me what I need to do to make it easier for you. You know, we can still be friends. Like, please never ever say that. Like, you know, it kind of helps, but it doesn't kind of help. The important thing here is this. How many of you, when you do have to break up with the other person, would wish that the other person is not so sad? Logically speaking, you care for that person as well, unless the person is a jerk. And you would want the person to move on. Yeah? So that partly because you want the person to be happy, partly because you don't want the person to start hounding you for the next 3 months. But when the person really behave in a very aloof manner, like, okay, sure, like now, you would feel like, you mean you're okay to just break up now? Right? So there's something very interesting about the way we relate to others in terms of a relationship. So when you say, how do we know that it's genuine? Yeah, so you got to ask yourself, how do you know what it means to be genuine? Does it mean that when the person is no longer around, either not in this world or away from you, that you must cry your hearts out, go into mourning for 3 years, you know, like go into depression, then it means that it's real? And if anything lesser than that, yeah, then it's not real. Must it be that way? There's another kind of love that the Buddha described, yeah, that don't necessarily have to bring suffering. Yeah. But it's not the kind of love that we are so familiar with. The kind of love we are familiar with is the one that we laughed about just now. Yeah. Unfortunately, when it is not a breakup, it's not so funny anymore. when it's death, it's not so funny anymore. Yeah? And it's no laughing matter. But still the same question begs to be asked. My father is in the hospital as we speak. All is well, don't worry. Actually, he just got his colon cleared of all the shit. So in the family chat, I was joking with them, like, because he was having constipation and the doctor was like having questions about what is happening. And then finally, the doctor confirmed that it was not colon cancer, at least not yet, but that there's a lot of impacted feces. So I joke with my family that, the good news is that he's full of shit. I love my father a lot, so don't get me wrong. The thing is, like, what if he passed away? Think about it. I use the question, what if? As though he would never die. The truth is, it's a matter of when will he die? Not just him, me, you, all of us. So the question then becomes, when someone whom we love pass away, will we grieve? I'll tell you this as I've repeated in so many talks. When I dream about my parents passing away, I cry my hearts out more than I've ever in real life for other matters. I cry so hard in my dream, I wake up with tears and, all the works. So, this is the kind of love that we are used to. But that's the best we can do at the moment. But tomorrow, 3 years later, 10 years later, should we continue to love in this way? Sometimes we don't have a choice because our parents have passed away, because our loved ones have left us already. But perhaps we can do better for not just ourselves, but for our loved ones also. Because if we change the way we love them, then it benefits them while they are alive as well. Then our love will not be the kind of clingy love. Will not be the kind of, I love you, and I want you to be happy, but only with me. Not that kind of love. But rather, the kind that is genuinely concerned about their well-being. That is also love. Sometimes we are capable of that with our best friend, but sometimes even with best friend, not even romantic love. I've known of some individuals, they're not psychotic, but sometimes unconsciously. It's not that we sit down, we wake up on Sunday and then we plan, okay, let me be very attached to this person. No. Emotions is not something that you sort of reason out. But the reverse can be done. That instead of being so, I love you, I want you to be happy, but this, but that, but this, but that, with so much conditions and strings attached, we can start bit by bit. Don't compare ourselves with the Buddha immediately. And then tomorrow, try to act like a Buddha. And then when you meet a friend, instead of, I don't know what you all do now, shake hand, hug or whatever, you go, Abaya. And don't try to act like Buddha, go in that direction, but do what you can now. The kind of love we are capable of now has a bit of attachment, but don't beat yourself over it. And this applies to the question on craving. This applies to the question on how much to practice and how much to adjust. The last thing you want to do for yourself is beat yourself over it, because we're not enlightened. But tomorrow, try. Kind of like go on a test drive. Yeah, we're not quite there yet, but test drive. What if? Ask yourself a simple question. What if I love this person in a slightly different way? You may succeed, you may not. You know what? You may find that the Buddha's way of loving doesn't work for you, at least not now. Who's to say you are right or wrong? And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Then the only thing you can do is love them the way you can love them. at the moment. But maybe one day, you may find that certain angles that the Buddha has taught us to love others, they start to make sense. And in fact become more and more natural. Yeah? And in this way then, does it mean that our loved ones will not go? No, they will still go. Yeah? One day they will still go. But we will have loved them in a deeper way. Less about how we feel, but more about how they are. Last question, Bhante. Yeah. Yes.
My question is, what happens if you work with children, especially special needs children? Because when you work with them, because you meditate every day, so when you're with them, so they sort of like there's a negative energy in them that it keeps sucking your positive energy. Like because at the end of the day, it's like so tired, so tired that after spending a time with them, so how to recuperate back this energy in you? Because when you go in at time, it's okay. You have this energy in you, the positive. But at the end of the day, because it's too much, these children, they are not ordinary children. They are very special needs. So they really sort of take away your energy very fast, drain off all your energy. So how to recuperate back? That's my question. Thank you.
Any thoughts about special needs?
Professor has experience.
You have experience. So, not handicapped, but special needs. Special needs. So, some special needs is a whole range. Can be autistic, can be ADHD, ADD, different spectrum, and then there are different within each of the groups. There can be different degrees. Yeah. So the question was, when working with children with special needs, I'm going to just repeat verbatim. Yeah. She says that when she starts off in the day, she's full of energy, but she feels that there's a lot of negativity, and at the end of the day, she's like all drained. Yeah. So she wants to know. Yeah, at the end of the day. So she wants to know how can she like what? Recharge, yes. Yeah. If I miss out anything, please add on. Which one is it? To recharge for the next day or
it's like
to maintain the level?
At the end of the day, you can feel that you are extremely tired. Yeah, so you need to get back the energy. Because at the end of the day, I go back to my meditation, so I can feel this sense of this drain, totally drain in you the energy. So you need to recuperate, recharge back.
Yes.
So I was just wondering how you can do it in order to bring back the energy in you. Yeah, because it's like totally drained.
Not easy, Professor?
Actually, that needs actually a lot of clarification, but because of the time being, I'll make it very short. So even I had the same problem when I was teaching many students, especially from different levels of students. At the end of the day, I was totally exhausted. And one reason for my, getting tired, so I was talking too much at high and top level. So my master actually, there are different approaches. A master watching me, and I took him here. Actually, he had never been to foreign country. I took him here 7 days in Singapore and 7 days in Malaysia at my all expenses. He was the one who actually helped me come up a lot. And even I had the same problem. At the end of the day, I was really exhausted. And one was that, I don't know what type of things you are doing, engaged with children, but I was talking too much at top level. So he guided me to use my voice in a less stressful way, and without straining my voice, how to talk without taking much energy, how to talk actually vociferously, loudly, so that even the children in the last row can hear, so without exerting much energy. So he taught me like that. So I practice it. Even if I had too much, attachment to your responsibility, over attachment, even that makes you tired internally. So the tiredness actually both internal and external. You have the mental tiredness and even the physical tiredness, and they are actually. I feel that you have both tiredness. So one thing is that, and even there was one reason for my tiredness. I didn't have the meals at proper times, and even I didn't have much rest at night, overworking, and there was some physical misbehavior. So anyway, I could actually overcome this way. I didn't have too much attachment to what I did. I had attachment, but not too much attachment. So if I could not cover all the agenda which I had previously prepared, and even if I could not do let's say, I usually come to the classes and to deal with the students with a certain program in my head, with a certain level and expectation. And if I could not meet that, I really feel tired. So I just removed all these without sort of attachment and preoccupation. I even without taking much strain. So I began to do all this, but there are lots of things for you to actually grab. So do it with less attachment, and do it with you have to maintain your body, properly. You are not to break rest at night and wake up freshly and have good food. And even there, if you do a lot, actually lot to them in your program, even you will get tired. So you are working with your mind energy and bodily energy. So just perform them in a less stressful way, mentally and physically. Actually, to give other clarifications and reason answers, I have to watch what you are doing there. Otherwise, I can't say. But firstly, keep your body fit with good food and especially mental power, less attachment, less. Don't have too much adherence to your responsibility. You love your children and do whatever you want to plan for them, but without attachment, too much attachment.
I have experience when I was in London. The late head of the Vihara is Most Venerable Vajrayana. He was very sick, very ill. Then I look after 4.5 years. Yes. Then all the time, day and night, I look after him. When he was in the hospital, I went to the hospital and stay in same room. And when he came back to the temple, to London Buddhist Vihara, I stay in his room. And it's getting worse and worse. He's totally different person. He was very kind monk, kind person, kind to me. But due to his strong medicine, he was different person, and blamed me and shouted at me and something threw away to me. But I thought he's kind person, good one, good teacher and learned teacher. Because of his medicine, a strong medicine, he changed. Then I practice loving kindness meditation, and also I thought the cause, what was the cause because of the medicine. And also if someone comes to the temple or to the hospital, I went out and I was thinking what happened, what was the life. It was the life. Then I console my mind and I practice loving kindness meditation, and like that way. I never change my mind, and also I thought I'm practicing the virtues of the Bodhisattva, the qualities of the Bodhisattva, looking after a teacher or master. And even Buddha said, if you look after a patient, it's like a look after the Buddha. Like that way, I practice that way. I think you can do it. Yeah, had to practice like loving kindness or compassion for them. That way. Okay. I think we have another.
And just adding something, actually, once I was invited to come here to conduct a series of lectures, I was, Venerable Sir, I was actually in a tight schedule there, and I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Postgraduate Studies in my university, and I have lots of responsibilities because it's a new university, and I am also visiting lecturer to several universities in Sri Lanka. Earlier I had no lot of opportunities. Venerable, now actually there's a great demand for me from a lot of universities, and even the National Examination Department of Sri Lanka, and there are other places. So I had to cover a lot of programs before I come here. So I came here with actually a lot of preparations. So as soon as I came here the 5th day, I came here on 5th. So I wonder whether you believe, I spent many hours. Sometimes I went to bed around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock here, preparing all the notes and then organizing, reorganizing, and the second level actually cutting unnecessary parts and then preparing them it for PowerPoint presentation, and then usually in a PowerPoint one slide there should not be much. It should be very short and very clear. So I prepared the notes again, and then again creating a PowerPoint. So so much work, but I had no, as Venerable says, wrong attitude towards that. I did it with much earnestness and no attachment. And the following day I lectured, and again once the lecture is over, after lunch I rushed into my room here and did the same for the next lecture. So that way I was so much tired, but I had no, actually I got a backache and headache because of overworking. So some days I slept 2-3 hours, and again I got up. Then by that time I got an invitation to attend Saudi Arabia. I didn't like it at all for 2 reasons. Because of the schedule here, and I have sort of fear for going there. So my master teacher, Professor Sumnapal Galmangoda, was invited by them, but he was a little sick, so he asked me to go. I said, sir, I have been invited. No, okay, you change the program and discuss it. He told me 2 times, so I couldn't refuse. So I started going there on 26th around 10 o'clock, and I landed there 27th after 8 hours. And the very same day I had to talk with them. And even there I couldn't sleep for about 1 or 2 hours. Even the climate was actually disturbing. But I was not unhappy at all. So everybody, now my colleagues say that you have a very good mental power. So not within 1 or 2 days. One thing, even I reached here yesterday. I started actually flying from Saudi Arabia on 29, but I landed here 30th. So today I got up at 8 o'clock. Venerable permitted me to. So when you work, as our Bhante says, the attitude, your mental, actually your power, supported by your development, sort of development with less attachment, with equanimity, not the higher level, but equanimity. You are not shaken with all these. We try to maintain, so practice it. So with less attachment, with loving kindness, and with equanimous mental balance, you can go forward. If you are so much tired, you sleep and get a rest and recharge. That's the way. The balance is the most important thing. That way you can go ahead. So you have to maintain both mental and physical balance.
Okay, thank you so much. So again, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.